In this episode of the All Access Automation Podcast, I'm joined by Dogan Kirca, Head of Automation Consulting at E.ON. In the episode, we dive into the importance of setting the foundations when it comes to automation, how we're able to collaborate across teams when it comes to finding strategic use cases for the company, and also his take on the future of automation and AI. I hope you enjoy. Hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the All Access Automation Podcast with Rebio. I'm delighted to be joined by Dogan Kirca. Welcome to the episode.
Happy to be here, thank you.
Good stuff. We've had a long couple of days at the All Eyes in Automation event just down the road in Berlin here. So it took about a 20-25 minute walk down to the studio.
Yeah, it was quite cold in Berlin at this time, but it was okay.
Yeah. And how did you find the event in general? I suppose you were involved in a panel yesterday and then plenty of discussions with different kind of clients and partners as well.
It was really quite interesting, meeting really special or experts in a small area where we could work or interact, and also start some networking as well. And the sessions were really interesting. It was all about seeing what's happening next to each other, and also knowing the technologies and best practices. And as you know, I had also the chance to act as a speaker. Maybe we can talk about it later as well. But in general, it was really good, impressive, and I took lots of ideas with me as well, and also many interesting people that we will connect.
Yeah, great stuff. And I love the whole structure of the event as well. Like, even we had it in the Cinemax just down the road, brilliant venue, and to afford the opportunity for the delegates to go into different rooms and different speakers as well, and kind of choose which ones and areas they want to focus on was a really nice dynamic.
Yeah, it is. We had, I think yesterday it was really a generic sum, so we could also go from one session to another, but today it was lots of different sessions in parallel. As you know, there were different rooms, and you could pick up which session the best is for you as well. So we had from E.ON side, we had a few colleagues, so we could spread a bit to gain the most inputs that we can get. But also the feedback from the other colleagues was really positive, that they've enjoyed the session and learned also as well.
Brilliant. Sounds good. Well, we can discuss a bit about that later on, but I suppose the automation journey in general within E.ON, how did that kind of start, I suppose, and what's your role within that?
Okay. I start quickly, maybe what I'm doing, and as you said, what my role is. So I'm from E.ON, and I'm working in a tech consulting unit of E.ON, taking care about process automation in general. Maybe some facts about E.ON. E.ON is really huge. We have more than, I think, 70,000 employees across Europe, and different divisions, units, national companies and international companies as well. So we are working like as a core team, concentrating for every process that E.ON has, from customer solutions to energy networks to corporate functions, whatever is needed. So my role is I'm leading a unit which is automation consulting. What we do is we are focusing on process automation with different automation technologies. Within our unit, we have at least 3 units next to me as well. So 2, sorry, not 3. The one part is automation design. The other one is automation delivery, where different capabilities are set up. I start maybe quickly with automation delivery. So in this unit, we have different developers in place using different technologies like Java developers, RPA developers, Power Platform developers, and so on. Then we have the automation design unit, where mainly the automation solution design has been created, like architecture, and also business analysts, so which go to our business units, do a kind of requirements engineering, write user stories, helps them to make the processes more efficient, and so on. And in my unit, we are taking care mainly like product managers, so we're concentrating on the delivery of the processes that we are running, and also roles like Scrum Master, Portfolio Manager, Automation Expert, consulting capabilities, demand management, and so on. So we work like really a professional organization within an organization. This is like the HR lines that we have, but I can make it clear we're not working like this. Yeah, so not in this borders.
Of course, I was going to ask how you all work together, how you pull together. Yeah, it sounds a bit siloed.
But it is not. This is just HR lines, a reporting line to management, and having your legal manager. And we're working in a DevOps mode, which is really we work in an agile framework, which is Scrum, and we also split these different roles into one functional team, taking care for, I would say, a batch of automation solutions. So just an example, we have like functions which are overarching, like portfolio management, demand management, and so on. So these are really taking care that we have enough automation projects in pipeline. As I said, E.ON is really huge, and we have to go into the different areas and explain how automation can help our business units to be more professional, maybe more efficient, and also be ready for the future as well, because we digitalize many processes. And we have also roles which are really inside of the DevOps crew, we call them. So a product manager is acting like a technical product owner, interacting with a business product owner, I would say, we are creating for the process for. Then we have architects and business analysts coming from the second unit, I would say. And we have developers for different technologies. So each DevOps teams that we have is able to build independently from the technology automation solutions. You could ask why. We always have the discussion about having tech stacks really concentrating only in RPA, only in workflow management, and so on. But we decided that the technology is just the helping tool to automate, but the use case is the relevant one. Sometimes you would need AI capabilities maybe, and you would need an RPA and also maybe Power BI to display it. So then you would need different capabilities somehow get together and form a project team. What we believe on is, independently from a technology, we can consult our business units with saying, okay, just give us the use case. We will find the right technology stack for you, build it, and operate it also as well within our team. So which means we do not throw it over the fence and say, take care whatever you do with it, because you may know that that processes can change, processes can need to be improved, and normally the capabilities are not set up in the local business unit because they're accounting, because they're tax departments, they are taking for customer solutions, whatever. They're not automation expert to operate automation solutions. Roughly how we work, maybe. I hope I could give you a sneak peek how it looks like.
Definitely, yeah. There's a lot to unpack there, I suppose. You mentioned about, the size of E.ON and being able to engage those business users, and that's where the initial use case comes from, and you try and find the technology around it. Like, you're not going with an AI hammer or an RPA hammer looking for business cases. It's the reverse. But how do you kind of foster that environment within E.ON that they're receptive to you having those conversations about improving their processes from a business perspective with technology? Yeah,
I think first of all, the overarching E.ON goals are the driver for it, which are really easy one, which are three, which is one is sustainability, one is growth, and one is digitalization. So perfect. all what E.ON is doing needs to play into this overarching goals, and digitalization is I would say the goal, and even sustainability and growth. So if you make your processes efficient, you will have a sustainable. If you want to grow, you will have to have good processes and automated processes. And if you want to digitalize it, so it is a perfect tool when you digitalize and automate it directly, without having this manual interstep. So I think this is the first trigger that we have. But as you can imagine, this is not enough. So still we have to go and increase the visibility, what we are doing. And I would say the best marketing that we can do is delivering really good use cases, so that we do not talk about it, but the business who is using the technology is showing that around and say, wow, we have done this, and this is working really properly. And thanks God, we do not have to run everywhere and try to, I would say, show what automation can do. We still do it. Sometimes we're invited in some sessions, say, hey, can you talk about maybe process automation? We go in, and it also helps that we are really an internal division. We do not need to sell something, so we are here to help, and we know the processes because all people nearly having they coming from the energy industry or understand what's going on, so we know the pain points, and we can also directly approach. As an example, when there was a Corona time and the energy prices increased, the number of demand for PV systems increase. So you can imagine that the demand is increasing from, I don't know, from 0 to 100, but you do not have enough stuff to handle even all the calls, all the requests. And then you're starting to say, okay, how can we make this process digital? And we approach this colleague and say, guys, we are searching for the colleagues who are responsible for PV systems. Can we reach out? And then we go into it and say, okay, we had an idea about to help you a bit, and let's review your process, and we can try to make it more efficient. And maybe this is the benefits that we have, because we're coming really from internal experts, knowing the processes, knowing the pain points that we have, and it works somehow. So we had be establishing more and more a kind of demand management, I would say, which is not like the classical that you jump and knock on all doors. It is more like coordinating our demand, prioritizing our demand, explaining our business units when we're going to deliver, what is needed to start a proper project, what is maybe as a preparation needed. You also may know when you start the process, you need, the challenging thing is find the right people knowing the process, bringing them together and try to get all information out of their brains, or which is mainly not documented, but they know what they're doing. You start documenting it first, and then say, we need this guy for this because he's doing it, and then you have to bring them together. And this is what mainly our demand management is doing, like coordinating the demand, and also collecting all relevant information so that we have a status which is called ready for automation. Then we foster it to use the teams, and the teams deliver.
It sounds like a really kind of mature organization when it comes to this. Were you involved? Did you come into it when it was mature, or have you seen a kind of an arc of improvement since you've been there? You're smiling, which gives me the impression there might have been some pain at the start. Is that the case at all?
Yeah. You can imagine it was. We say always we were like a startup.
It just sounds so perfect now.
No. I think it is like how it is right now, but it was a long journey for us. So the division where I'm in is called Expert Services, so which is created within E.ON Digital Technology, which is the core IT of E.ON. And within E.ON Digital Technology, we have a division which is called Expert Services. So Expert Services was built, I would say, 3 years right now ago. So you can imagine different people come and they formed a team for different topics, I would say. So automation is one of it. And the goal was really to build up a consulting unit which is concentrating on technology and which is also not just consulting. We always call us, how our managing director calls, consultants with dirty hands. We do not just provide slides, we also deliver what we provided. And as you can imagine, the unit...
No offense to any consultant.
So we were, I'm not sure how many people were, I think 13, 14, 15 or so, but to be honest, under 20. And we worked classically where we talked about it like classical projects and finished it and handed over. We had not so professional roles that I had, so we had not many people. Many people are different. One people is covering multiple roles because you did not have this I would say manpower, the resources, and even the capabilities there, and also maybe not the demand, because we worked on different processes. When I joined the team, it was, I think, 8-9 months or 1 year at least together. And so my now manager decided to maybe increase also the focus of automation, and I came to the team, and we directly start on making a proper strategy how we could grow. We first thought of about what is the strategy, where we want to be in few years, and how can we foster it with our existing capabilities. And the first thing, my peer manager next to me leading a different department had the same opinion. And we said, okay, we need to go in an agile delivery to be more flexible. And we started with I wouldn't call Scrum, it is maybe an agile organization, but we thought about we have to cut this legal lines between the teams being just responsible from A to B and then handing over to C and then to D. And when a problem appears, it is always between this. There's maybe a small place in between handing over, but this small place or this white spot, I would say, is causing lots of errors in handing over something. And we said, okay, let's just imagine we are building a car and the customer wants a car which can drive, which is maybe not raining inside the car, and it needs to be red and maybe also comfortable. So we need different capabilities to deliver it.
Yeah.
At the end, for the customer, for our business, the car counts, not responsive, not independently
course,
who has delivered it. If the car is red, but the engine is not fast enough or has powerful enough, the customer would say, I don't buy this car. I ordered something different. And we started then saying, okay, agile delivery, and looked in an organization, agile organization structure, which could help us. How we can have a kind of metrics organization or so. We said, okay, now let's do not touch it. It will be a too big change about assigning people to functional crews. So we said, let's have a legal line and the functional line. And the functional line are maybe coordinated in products, and automation products. And then we found Unfix. So Unfix is an agile organization tool, how we set up individually and flexible team. And this was also one of our drivers. We see we need flexibility because the demand can increase, the demand can go down. The products that you informed now, which should not be valid in 3 months, maybe in 8 months. And this was the reason why we said we do not need like HR organizations, because HR organizations are fixed and you cannot change it after 3 months because it's about people.
Just on that, when you were saying that, you had a conversation within your team about what the strategy is going to be and how we're going to work in a more agile fashion. Did that message have to go up the chain at all to like leadership outside of your team? And did you have to get that message across? And how did that land in terms of, okay, we need to work, not as siloed, we need to work in this agile manner? Was that ever a challenge at all, or was that quite smooth sailing?
It was quite smooth, I would say. So thank God as well. Our managing director was really open and said, do whatever you want, because you're responsible. We are a growing unit. So this is the reason why I said we felt like a startup at the beginning. We had lots of flexibility, and we had not really fixed goals, and everything has defined. We were like, okay, define your goals, and we had just 1 or 2 goals that we need to fulfill, and however we do it, it was our responsibility. And my manager also was really open, said, guys, I'm open, whatever you decide, let's try it out and see how it's work. And at the end we tried it out. And maybe to make a long story short, we used Scrum. We have created functional teams. We used Unfix to set up our teams. We had overarching functions. We have defined the strategy where we want to be. We defined what capabilities we would need to have a proper team. We defined technology stacks. We defined roles. We maybe analyze which roles do we have, which roles don't we have, which need to be hired, which not. And at the end, I think we had just, I would say, 2.5 or 3 months of a preparation phase. And we also said, let's be as also management agile, just start, not having a half year of or 6 months of creating a concept. We discussed this, I think, in October or so, finalized in December, and kicked it off after Christmas break and said, let's try it out. And we had also some discussions about, should we just try it with a part of the team and not? And like a pilot, I said, let's try it out. What should fail? Exactly. So, and then it grew. And now we are, I think, roughly over 70 people from 16, 17 people. We grow up in, I would say, 2.5 years to 70, still growing. And so maybe we had a nice impact story as well, where from really the use cases that we have delivered getting more and more complex, because you are gaining experiences, you're gaining people even from outside of E.ON and inside from E.ON coming to us and bringing different capabilities. And
once you prove that you can do it.
Exactly. And the use cases become more important, more interesting, even for our team as well. When they say what they have done maybe 2 years ago, what kind of automation process they have built, and now what we're doing, we are going into business critical processes as well, where people trust us. They're really main process to be automated. And this is really impressive, and this is what also we want to say. Okay, we want to do really big stuff. And help E.ON to be more automated, more efficient, and more digital, and things like that. And this is where we really try to pay in our strategy as well.
Brilliant. Sounds great. So we spoke a bit about how you're set up within E.ON, the journey that you've gone on, and how that kind of aligns with the main kind of goals that E.ON would have. when you look at the discussion that you had yesterday on the panel with AI and automation hand in hand, first of all, how did you think that session went? Was it interesting for you? And then I suppose a follow-up is, what are kind of some of the key points that you feel of integrating AI into the automation side of things?
Yeah. So first of all, I think the panel was really interesting because I also need to prepare myself what I want to tell to the audience, and I also looked into who's the audience. Should I explain what AI is, or should I explain how we use it? Should I bring in more use cases that we have developed, or maybe more my personal view on that?
Yeah.
And I decided to do not talk too much about AI, what AI is. I think everybody in this room was kind of expert and knowing what AI can do, and we had lots of interesting sessions around it. So I would say this would not be the value. I decided to bring more my personal view and how we live it maybe within E.ON, or should live it and not in place right now, and also showing that not everything is perfect that we present on the stage and saying looks like, wow, you're doing it. It always sounds like impressive stuff that you're doing. So I pointed out a bit more about my personal feeling about AI and where AI should go hand in hand with automation, because in many companies you have like a data and AI team, and you have an automation team. This is like historically grown, and in large organizations I talked about maybe some politics and responsibilities. You have borders, you have central ITs, you have business ITs, you have decentral data teams, decentral AI teams, decentral automation teams. Some are having external partners that they're cooperating since 10 years and willing to start with them. So there are lots of organizational borders to bring AI and automation together. So this is, I would say, in large organization, always the case, or nearly always, I would say. I talked a little bit about this and explained that, for example, my view is that AI cannot survive without automation. Right now, I think there was a closing discussion. I forget the name of this colleague, but he described about what AI can do and how AI can help maybe to leverage businesses and help to gain efficiency. And I think this was the right thing.
Yeah.
Because AI is something, he also talked about that AI is since 1954 a topic or so. Yeah, it's gaining an evolution and popping up and popping down with maybe having some milestones, and then you have a big I would say increase in the interest of AI.
But also AI is like, it's always spoken about as the new technology, and AI 20 years ago is different than what it is now.
Exactly. It is. You have always an evolution in it, which really picks up brings the peak into the demand, or maybe also in the investment values. At the end, we are all companies. So we need to see, we are not like, we're doing research, but at the end, research is something that you can just invest if you gain or earn this money to reinvest it to be ready more maybe for the future. Right now, everybody has the feeling to invest in AI because I need to do something. But if you think about how many really big use cases are coming out of it where you gain efficiency right now, maybe the efficiency will come later. This is maybe seen as an invest. But I said maybe the hype will go down. I don't think so, to be honest, personally, but maybe. And then they will all look, okay, it was maybe funded by innovation budgets mainly, where automation is not funded by innovation budget. It's more like gaining efficiencies, making more efficient processes, grow as a process, and maybe reduce manual work. And so automation comes from efficiency from the past, always when you don't think about process automation. When we go in the automotive industry, it was like making automation, gaining efficiency faster, better, and so on. And I said, when we would combine closer AI and automation, you have this innovation part maybe coming with AI and the automation part gaining efficiency. So then it is getting a real use case, because
it's a perfect combination.
I say you can maybe start with an exploration phase where you gain a budget from the innovation part, but say we have also automation behind it where we really increase the efficiency what we do. And I spoke about a little bit how we could bring this closer together. And as I said before, it is like bridging the organizational borders that you have. Maybe as I described in our team, we said, okay, I don't have a feeling like I'm a manager of my people and I need to control what they're daily doing. I said, I'm their legal manager. I can consult them in what my view on their role is, but the teams are working independently and are responsibly and self-organized within a crew. So this was like stepping back as the manager and let the team do whatever they do, and do not say, I want to be like really close to my team and trust the team. And same here. So if you was having a data team, automation team, AI team, whatever teams you have, and say, guys, work together. Sometimes we need AI, sometimes we need automation, sometimes we need both at the same time. Connect each other, having the right people sitting next to each other and delivering really the best values that you can get. And at the end, AI helps really to increase the efficiency, because process steps that you could automate is now extending to the left and to the right more. At the end, maybe you had a proper data structure at the beginning, and then you could automate. Now you can put AI in it and say, okay, we can use AI to maybe read your data better and quickly, and you do not need to do it manually or so on. So you are extending the value chain of an automation really to a broader level, where you can say, now we're giving really more innovation in it, and also more efficiency in the process. So this was a little bit some topics. On the other hand, I talked about people. So we had a question around.
Yeah, I was going to bring that up. Vikas, he came out with a bit of a random one on the day, just about the unlimited budget. And I remember that you did bring up people. I think a lot of people would have been, I mean, it's not the first thing you think of traditionally when you're told you have unlimited money, what are you going to do? Like, but I thought it was a really, really kind of poignant point that you brought up.
Yeah. So, exactly, this was the question. I say unlimited money, maybe 12 months, where would you invest? And mainly going into really technologies and so on. So I said maybe I would invest it in the people, and I believe maybe, and this is where we one more topic where automation is maybe, or AI and automation is in 5 years, 10 years. I said the classical roles that we currently have would be not exist, or should exist, would not exist. Sorry, because the value chain is really going. So you cannot always bring 8 people together when you want to automate. You cannot say, I need a data scientist, I need a data engineer, then I need an RPA developer, then a solution architect, then a business analyst, then a BPM developer, maybe knowing Python and Java, the tools. So it will not work, because this will not be also efficient within an automation team. And it's we talked about, for example, roles like automation developers. Having a broad skill about automation, needed technologies, which could be maybe being expert in Azure, but also knowing how to use RPA with it, or things like that. Because the reason why, with all these technologies and AI is bringing, just an example, let's use Microsoft Power Platforms also, it makes it easy to use AI tools. In the past you have to train the models. You need really good data engineers, really scanning all the data, training the machine manually nearly to make it. But right now it is like grabbing the data, uploading it, analyze it, and then say, okay, the data is there. So somehow it is democratized. I hope I pronounce it correctly in English. So it is easier to have access to AI with ChatGPT, OpenAI, whatever is going on, Copilot and so on. It is quicker to use and easier to learn than it was maybe 5 years ago. And therefore, my vision is really to everybody to really extend his technical tech stack, I would say, and knowing more left and right to really be able to even consult, to analyze, and to deliver a technology independently, and not really just relying, I'm just doing RPA in, I do not want to name a company, with this company's tool. So.
Okay, so it's not more, when you say you're investing in the people side of things, is it to shape them into what that new role might be in the new world whenever that AI just becomes a lot more easier to manage and to develop with?
Yeah. So definitely. So are we there with E.ON? Not yet. So we are also growing into it. We are also optimizing our way of working. We also try to bring different technologies closer together. And this is the reason why I said we're always discussing about having just RPA teams. I'm the one who's always fighting against because I believe in that. What I told you, that just knowing one technology should not the goal for individual people who want to grow with automation. Just knowing one technology, this is not what I believe. So in my team, I always say, we must know everything what's going on, every tech stack that we have, and also beyond. I would love everybody to know what's going on the automation market, and knowing or consult our business unit independently from technology. They do not just want to make an efficient process. They come to us because they're not happy with any process or they have a pain. They do not say, use AI, please. Use RPA, please. They do not.
They don't know. Plus, they don't need to know because
exactly. They need to see the result. Yes, the result is the one which is important, and this is what I try to explain. And this is the reason why we stick the people each to each other, because I do not also trust in just sending people to trainings. They need to sit next to each other. So one time we have in our teams, we have sometimes maybe 2 RPA colleagues are working on RPA topic, the other Power Platform colleague is working on a Power Platform topic, and what I think or what I believe is really when they sit always in a daily together, always in a planning together, always in a retro together, they somehow should gain interest from each other and also learn step by step about, how did you do that? So that the interest is growing into a different technology. And I think the best training is just doing it and having really an expert next to you instead of starting online trainings or whatever. So I don't think that only trainings could foster to learn different technologies.
Yeah, definitely. And that comes back to your point a while ago around empowering the people within your team, because when they do feel that that they have responsibility to do that, they will ask those questions because they don't have anyone to defer to. They need to go and figure it out themselves. So that creating that environment automatically creates that I suppose activity for them to actually go and figure out what the issue is or how they can develop even more as developers that can span across different technologies. So that's really cool as well. I suppose you mentioned about your team wanting to always be looking to the future of what's available. From an E.ON perspective, is there areas where you feel that you would like it to go within the next 5 years, for example, or areas where you definitely need to kind of tap into?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think we have definitely areas. So our tech stack is, I wouldn't say limited, but I think we have a fixed tech stack that we would use as we are a large enterprise. So everything what we use, the platforms needs to be aligned in our technology platform alignment. It needs audit, it needs cybersecurity because we are critical infrastructure. So, and we need to really take care of what we're doing, which platforms we are using. And everything is really 100% secure and safe. So therefore we cannot just switch in new technologies quickly in and out. Yeah. So this is important. Therefore we are looking really for innovative partners when we use automation platforms, which really also developing, but in some cases we also extend our tech stack, but this is not an easy one, as you can imagine. It is taking long. I think what we are really stepping in is also what I discussed in the session as well, was more about bringing the existing technologies that we still have, and I believe that we have a good tech stack so far, which is enough. Maybe not for the next 10 years, I would say, or assume, but now it is.
Plenty of use cases.
Because we have also projects around intelligent automation. I call it project, not product. It is like a project. It's the goal is really how can we foster AI capabilities and AI technologies closer to the automation technologies without having a big tech break, I would say. The reason why is we talked about the business, and the business just want to have it run so independently who's responsible for us. And so I do not want to have discussions about when we used I don't know, any AI platform and then an automation platform and having two separate things and saying, okay, who's responsible now for it? Where has the incident happened? I would have to have it really in one core team and say, okay, independently who's done it, we will fix it, because the technologies are really so close connected to each other, which will allow us the proper operations also of the solutions independently. If our team is doing, if an operations team is doing, if the business is doing, or whatever, whoever is doing this operations, this is fostering or causing lots of errors, having this borders between technologies and I would say the gap for even the gap for the responsibilities, because always if you are using, for example, an orchestration interface like a BPM tool or so, it is just orchestrating. You have lots of subsystems working in there. So if I don't know, in an other tool something is not working, people will call the customer facing tool, which is maybe your BPM tool.
It's just the wrapper.
What would happen in a classical organization is we check that our tool is working, interface is there. Then I say, okay, where is the problem? I cannot digitally sign my documents. It is with, assign tool 1. and then go to the science to business another team. So this is what it really is killing IT as well, or digital teams, when you go to the customers and not feeling responsible for the product or software you have developed, and because it's a subsystem, we're not responsible or even do not have knowledge, and this is the biggest pain. So when I analyze a problem and I say, okay, it is in the tool 105, then I would say, okay, I grab it, I can fix it as well quickly, and log in and maybe find the right context. And this is happening if you're really extending your, I would say, view and interesting you for more tools, and even maybe having knowledge. And if you could connect them easier to each other, you will also better find the potential errors quickly. The incidents will maybe go down because the systems are somehow connected as well better with APIs or whatever.
Yeah, and that example of, you know, a customer having a poor experience with that when they're looking to fix the issue, that comes back to your point around trust and the buy-in from the user as well. And that side of thing is just so important when you're trying to implement that technology, and you need their input, you need their championing the product and everything that you're doing within that team. So yeah, it's also on the tech side where it's important to be able to view across all the different technologies and platforms, but from a business perspective, it's also really, really key. I suppose finally, looking kind of at future trends, but also people that are starting off the automation journey, do you have any advice for them on how to get started? You mentioned earlier that you just said, let's just start and let's fail fast and understand how we can go from there. But do you have any tips for people or companies that are kind of looking to start this journey and see where you are now?
Yeah. Really good question, because we brainstormed a lot about it, and we are also helping our business units, because each business unit is like in each individual company having its own rules and all backgrounds and so on. And sometimes we are asked and say, how should we start it? How could we find potentials, and how what money should we invest sometimes maybe? And the easiest one, or the maybe most challenging one, is trying to find an inefficient process, because no one will tell you that the process is inefficient. So
they might not know. They probably do know, and they
maybe not as well. You have people who love what they do. You have people saying, okay, you have processes where technicians go out, make photos of the document, send it to a back office. The back office then opening SAP, typing the data in, and sending an email saying you. So maybe they love what they do. This is what's their work. And maybe as they're also having a fear of losing their job if this process has been automated. This is a normal thing in automation, because when they automation, they will automate my job. You have a fear.
No, exactly.
And then the kind of resistance that a bot cannot do it, or maybe an AI cannot help me in that. I think the perfect way to start is always, I say, if you want to have a biggest impact in starting, is find your critical processes first. So what is the business relevant processes in our unit? It shouldn't be like the big one in our company. You could say, okay, let's start unit by unit. Start with maybe your accounting, tax, whatever, and say, what is the main process or the main products that this unit is for? Creating tax statements. Okay, then I would say, let's start with it. Let's scribble it down and say, how does the tax process start? Yeah, we grab data from system A to system B. Okay, but then I send it to him. And what is this person? I do not know. I send it to him. Okay, let's grab him as well into the round, and let's try to professionalize the process. I would say
first of all, document.
I said, how should I document it? Just scribble it down on a paper. It's enough. And say, okay, what side it's at. So I always say, what are the processes, the main processes in your unit? What is the reason why you are existing as a unit? And then we said, let's scribble it down. And then while scribbling it down, and the people are talking about, they find the inefficient things, saying, okay, I'm sending in mail and I'm waiting for 10 days, and then I have to remind him twice. Okay, then I say, okay, wait, there's an inefficiency. Okay, good. Then you start up creating a kind of automation backlog, which really helps to somehow see what capabilities you need, what capacities you need, and really the budget need at the end. And then you can start off and say, okay, we have identified 25 maybe inefficient steps, which could be steps in 3 processes maybe, and say, okay, we have analyzed maybe a potential technology which could help us, which could be maybe an AI element here, maybe an RPA bot here, maybe a Power Apps that you can build up like an customer interfacing or a business interfacing tool. And then you can put in effectively what's the benefit out of it. It's not always money. The money is the easiest one. It's saving us 25 days. It's the easiest one. It may be the old one. But sometimes it also helps to be ready for the future, which is say, okay, we can now handle all the demand.
Exactly,
but if it's now increasing, because everything is increasing, especially in our area, we would need 25 more people to do it. And if you just double the manual work with double people, I think this is not the efficiencies that we as E.ON want to go. So therefore, you can say, okay, it is could be employee satisfaction. Just maybe an anecdote. We had an use case where the business said, I know it will not be like a return on investment, but my people needs to sit there every Friday until 4 p.m. in the office to do that, because these documents are coming at 3:30 and I need always to have one person at least working every Friday. And we are a team of just 3 or 4. Can you help us to automate it?
Someone has to do it. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And the employees from this manager were like, yeah, it would be really great that we can stay at home, because we are working remotely sometimes, and as all of us, Fridays is a kind of a remote day mainly, and it was like just increasing the efficient or the employee satisfaction.
Morale is huge. Like it's so important. Yeah,
and this is what the goals are. So one goal could be like saving money. One could be satisfaction. One could be like digitalization. One could be growth, future readiness, whatever. Then you can have the processes that you or the inefficiency that you identified. You can measure it like what the saving is behind, not only money. This is really important. And then you can prioritize which are maybe the most important, and then decide on low-hanging fruits, like which is maybe a quick fix, what we can do quickly. And normally at this stage, you need an automation expert somehow next to you, giving you a kind of tech stack or a technical solution design, how it could be fixed. And when you know that, normally a kind of price tag could come, like an effort estimation, whether you have, like us having a tech team which is charging, then you can say, okay, this is effort, a mandate that we would invest. Sometimes you have internal experts who could do it, and it's maybe just a trade-off between other tasks that they're doing. So to make it short, I would say know your core processes, scribble them down, helps always. To put it on the wall. It is impressive what results came out of it. And then saying, okay, what is the pain, why you want to change this process? Then maybe the values that you can get out of it, then prioritize, and then start your journey, really. And this is our always recommendation. And most of the steps could be done by the people itself.
100%. Yeah. It's a mindset thing as well. But thanks very much for that. Really enjoyed that episode. And thanks for your input over the last couple of days as well. Really enjoyed the sessions, and hope you got something out of it.
Yeah, thank you very much for having me here.